Look at these thumbnails, dude. Predator, slaver. You have a thumbnail calling his dad a pedo. Child slave, dead child labor.
In March of 2015, a 3-year-old in Texas sat on the floor and opened a giant plastic egg full of toy cars while his mom filmed it on a camera. The video is still up. It now has over 1 billion views. That kid's name is Ryan Kaji. The channel is called Ryan's World, and it's one of the most watched channels for children on the entire platform. Nearly 40 million people are subscribed. There's a toy line in Target and Walmart, a show that he ran on Nickelodeon, and a production company built entirely around him. Forbes has put him near the top of its highest earning creators list, with figures reported in the tens of millions of dollars per year. He was 3.5 when it started. He never chose to film the videos, yet he was the main focal point of the content. Not even 1 penny of the money made went to him, despite him being the channel more or less. There were no laws broken by anyone involved, yet a child was worked for countless hours for no pay at all, while being the most important face on YouTube Kids for many years. Ryan Kaji is only the first of them. There have been many since him, but when he did it, no one remembered that he was only a child.
Let's crack the egg.
His origin is almost too basic to amount to the success he garnered. In 2015, Ryan's parents started posting videos of him playing with toys.
Are you ready to open this, Ryan?
Uh-huh.
Yeah? Are you excited?
Yeah.
What is this?
It's a Lego.
Lego what? Lego what?
Lego choo-choo train.
Yeah. Can you count these numbers for me?
Uh-huh.
Show me. What?
1,
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Where's 10? Good boy. And how old are you?
3.
He was 3. The format was unboxing, which just means opening toys on cameras and reacting, and at the time it was already huge on YouTube with adult channels. What nobody had really done yet was point the format at a small child and let the kid be the star. One video was all it took. He unboxed a giant egg with over 100 toy cars and planes inside of it, and it took off and kept going, past 100 million views, then past 1 billion. Ryan's World is widely credited as the first real kidfluencer channel on YouTube. Not the first kid ever filmed, but the first time the kid was the entire product. His parents saw what was happening, and they made a decision that on its face a lot of people would make. They quit their jobs. His father had been a structural engineer. They went all in and they built a company called Sunlight Entertainment to run the brand, with Ryan's father at the head of it. So by the time Ryan was 4, he was the talent, the product, and the reason that the household gave up all of its income all at once. He was 4. The machine was already astronomically bigger than he ever was.
And Ryan, what's your day-to-day like in the content and the videos that go out?
Well, usually we film on the weekends because that's when I have the most time. Because like other days I have school and then extracurricular activities. So yeah, that's usually when I film.
What got built on top of that child is genuinely staggering.
It had a budget of $10 million, but failed to earn even $1 million back. With empty movie screenings and a score of 2 out of 10 on IMDb, the recent Ryan's World movie was an absolute flop, and it's really not surprising. Take for example the film's first 18 seconds. The pivotal opening shot that sets the scene is absolutely awful. Rather than making a meaningful first impression and teasing the audience with a hint of what's to come, it rather shows Ryan's mum doing Tai Chi yoga on her front driveway of all places. Who does yoga on a driveway? Then, without explanation, a giant blue egg lands right beside her, revealing not only a film crew in the garage's reflection, but also the title of the film, Ryan's World the Movie Titan Universe Adventure. As suggested by his mum being in the intro, the film features Ryan's entire cringy family, who are all seen in the film's official trailer, released on Ryan's channel in May 2024.
There's the main channel and a whole network of spin-off channels. There's a toy line sold in Target and Walmart with his name and face on box. There was a deal with a kids media company that handled the merchandising. There was a television show on Nickelodeon. There are video games, clothes, masks, and a branded universe of characters around him. The money matched it. One Law review estimated the family pulled in over $27 million in a single year from advertising, merchandise, and the toy line. Forbes has ranked him among the very highest earning creators creators on the platform, with one recent list reporting $35 million in a year. Some reports predicted that his brand would cross $100 million in total. Every dollar of that was generated by a child, doing the one thing children do for free, which is playing with his toys and using his imagination. The genius of the format, if you want to call it that, is that it doesn't look like work. He's opening toys and smiling. There's no set, script, and really no clock. It looks exactly like a kid just being a kid, which is precisely why it took the law so long to see it as anything but. You can't film a child working in a factory, but you can film a child playing with his toys all day, every day, on a schedule, for an audience of millions, and for a decade, nobody called that a job. If you're enjoying this video so far, and you'd like to see more like it in the future, like, subscribe, and hit the bell notifications. It would help a shit ton. Thank you.
Ryan Kaji's parents didn't just fumble the bag. They lit it on fire, served it as a side dish, and then asked for second. We're talking about Shion and Luan Kaji, the masterminds behind Ryan's World, who turned their toddler into a walking ATM and are now watching their empire crumble faster than a house of cards in a hurricane. And honestly, it's about time. So let me paint you a picture of how we got here.
I'm willing to bet that you didn't know about this, because I didn't before making this, honestly. There's an old law that protects child actors. It's called the Coogan Law, named after a child star from the 1920s whose parents spent everything he earned. Because of it, in the film and TV world, a chunk of a child performer's income legally has to be set aside in a trust that the kid controls when they grow up. It exists specifically because we learned a century ago that parents and children have a financial conflict of interest in some cases, and that the kid will always lose. That law was written in for movies and television, but it said nothing about YouTube, because YouTube didn't exist. And the main federal labor law, the one from 1938, has an exemption for children working in a family business. So when the family business is a YouTube channel and the child is the business, the protections just aren't there.
As a child, he was one of the highest paid actors in Hollywood, but at the age of 21, when he tried to get access to the approximately $4 million, which is about $67 million today, he had earned up to that point, he learned that his mother and stepfather had spent most of it. He was only able to garner $126,000 of the remaining $250,000 or so they hadn't spent after suing the two. His mother, Lillian Coogan, argued during the case that Jackie had been having fun anyway whilst acting, and that no promises were ever made to give Jackie anything. His stepfather, Arthur Bernstein, added, "Every dollar a kid earns before he is 21 belongs to his parents. Jackie will not get a cent of his earnings."
One law review put it as plainly as it can be put. A 12-year-old making $30 million a year had no legal right to that money, and the people who could do whatever they wanted with it were his mom and dad. That's not an accusation against his specific parents, it's the description of the whole. For most of Ryan's childhood, there was no requirement that he see a cent of it, no cap on his hours, no mandated schooling rules, no trust, nothing. The same kid who couldn't legally work at a cash register was generating more revenue than most adults would see in a lifetime, and the law treated it as a playdate. Researchers who study this have a blunter word for it. They call it child labor, and the uncomfortable part is that they're not entirely wrong.
Ryan, I'm also curious, you're on track to be a teenage billionaire doing YouTube, but I remember being your age and just changing my mind every day in terms of what I wanted to be when I grew up. I'm curious, what do you want to be when you grow up?
When I grow up, I want to be like an animator. I think it's really fun to do because the drawing, and then at the end you get to see the whole thing and see what you've worked on the whole time. And sometimes I can see the drafts first, and then after I can see the full thing. It's really cool to see how it changes over time.
The money is not the only thing at issue in Ryan's story. He grew up as most people do, and the brand was built on a version of him that stopped existing years ago. The whole channel was anchored to a wide-eyed toddler losing his mind over toy cars. The kid is now a teenager. A Rolling Stone profile described the gap between the preteen he's become and the toddler still living on the channel as immense, which it noted is exactly what you'd expect for someone who got famous before he could even fully grasp the past tense. And by that reporting, teenage Ryan is quietly pulling away from it. He said he wants to be an animator. He draws, but only for himself. Fight scenes mostly, not the Ryan's World character. He likes building something slowly that's just his and not for the fans. Those are the normal interests of a normal teenager who wants a self that's not just a brand. But that's the trap that the format builds. His identity and his family's income are both wired to a character he aged out of years ago. Researchers describe this as one of the core harms of kidfluencing, that it freezes a child in the version of themselves that performed the best and then makes it expensive for them to ever move on. Ryan didn't choose the toddler who sells toys. He'll just be compared to him for the rest of his life. Every year the gap grows. The issue is that the brand doesn't.
Ryan's World is a YouTube channel that sits at a staggering near 40 million subscribers. And with a young kid in the profile picture and the brightly colored banger, you can make the assumption that this is just any other kids channel. However, when you realize the true dark side about his parents controlling and manipulating his entire life, a full decade of making the exact same videos targeted directly to kids, and being publicly humiliated nowadays, it doesn't exactly sound all that appetizing.
The reason that this is bigger than one channel is that Ryan was only the proof that it could ever be done. Then everyone decided to do it. After Ryan's World, the kidfluencer became a category. Channels built around small children doing martial arts, pranks, or living their entire documented lives on camera. Some of them with 20 to 30 million subscribers of their own. Academics studying the space line up the big ones side by side and find the same structure underneath. A parent building a business on the personality of their kid. And the spectrum has a dark end. Most of these families are not doing anything criminal, but the same incentive that says film your child because it pays is the incentive that, when pushed far enough, in the worst documented cases, stops protecting the child at all. The overwhelming majority of these channels aren't abusive, so that's not the issue. The point is that the platform built a financial reason to put your kids on camera, handed it to millions of parents, and attached no floor underneath it. What happens to the child depends entirely on who the parents are, because the system is not checking. Ryan didn't do that. He was 3, but the door he walked through, the toddler brand, is a door that doesn't close, and an entire industry walked through it behind him.
After years of being worked like a full-time employee by his own parents, Ryan's World might be quitting for good. The uploads are slowing, the kids barely on screen anymore, and for the first time in forever, it looks like Ryan is actually free. No more brand deals, no more pretending to love slime, no more fun that looks suspiciously like child labor.
It took until the children started speaking for themselves. In 2023, Illinois became the first state to extend its version of the Coogan Law to kidfluencers, requiring earnings to be set aside for the child. California followed in 2024. Since then, a wave of states including Minnesota, Utah, Arkansas, Montana, and Virginia have written laws mandating trusts limiting how children's content earnings can be used, and in some cases, giving the grown child the right to demand the videos be deleted. France passed a national law on this back in 2020 ahead of all of them. A lot of that momentum came from one other place, Sherry Frankie. The eldest daughter from the 8 Passengers family vlogging channel testified to lawmakers about growing up as what she called a child employee. She described getting $100 for a shopping spree in exchange for letting embarrassing personal moments go online. Her family's story was the criminal extreme, but what she described about consent and money and a childhood spent performing was the same machine Ryan's been inside this whole time. Here's the brutal timing of it. Ryan started in 2015. The first real law protecting kids like him landed in 2023, 8 years later, by which point he'd already spent his entire childhood as a brand. The protections being written now are for the next 3-year-old. They came way too late for him. That's how the platform works. They build a thing, profit off of it, and then the rules show up a decade later, after the first generation has already paid for the experiment.
Hey guys, I'm here at the Toy Animation Studio in Japan, and today we have a very special guest. Please welcome Director Poyama. He's the creator of Elamon, an awesome series that mixes animation and science. I actually got to be in Elamon too, and I was able to voice my own character. He's working on season 2 right now, which we might be able to see a sneak peek of later.
So where does that leave Ryan? By every visible measure, he's fine. He's wealthy, or at least his family is. The channel is still enormous. He's not a cautionary tale of collapse per se, because there's no arrest, scandal, or downfall, but he is a cautionary tale of how easy it is to steal someone's childhood for sure. Run the whole thing back. A 3.5-year-old was turned into a company before he could read. For most of his childhood, he had no legal claim to the money he generated and no limit on the hours he gave to it. The brand was bolted to a toddler version of him that he spent his teenage years trying to grow out of. And the laws that might have protected the actual child arrived a decade late, written for whoever comes next. YouTube didn't set out to do that to a kid. It just built a system that rewards putting children on camera and pays the most to whoever starts the youngest, and then it let that system run with nobody underneath it. Ryan's World worked exactly the way it was designed to. It got millions of views, tens of millions of dollars, a global brand, and it was all very real. The algorithm got everything it wanted out of him. He was 3 years old when it all started, but the only number that ever mattered to anyone around him were the billions of views that it got attached to his face.